Let's talk some more maintenance. There's a wonderful question. Maybe you've asked it yourself. What maintenance am I required to do? Now, as a proactive owner, as you have a property that's going to be a long-term investment, is that a practical way to handle maintenance? Maybe you've done this for a long time. Maybe this is your first time having a rental property. Let's think about that. In the state of Florida, when we rent a property, the tenant or resident expects that home to continue to be in a functional manner in the condition they received it, unless something has been excluded from the lease. Maybe that builder alarm system that you've never used, we excluded that on the lease. No harm, no foul. What about the garbage disposal? What about the microwave? Maybe the nice mounted microwave above the stove. 3 months in, it breaks. Are you responsible? Well, if it wasn't excluded, then you absolutely are. But what kind of atmosphere does that create for the occupant of the property? Does the occupant know that the property management company or the property owner is very reluctant to do repairs? They like to get as much life as possible out of a product. And then when they do replace it, maybe with a used appliance or the cheapest one you can find. What kind of occupant do you think this is going to attract to your property? Everybody talks about getting top dollar rent rates, getting their homes rented as fast as possible. But think about your property. If you have that wonderful green refrigerator from the 70s, if you have that ancient water heater that still works, mind you, you only get 5 minutes of hot water before it somehow runs out of hot water. If the carpet are some of those fabulous colors from the 80s, maybe you have that gold trim in the bathrooms. It was real popular in the 90s. Sure, it still works. But what type of resident are you going to attract? Is that going to bring in the people that are looking for a quality home and they're willing to pay a little extra because of those features? Or are we going to find that person that's simply looking for the cheapest property? Which resident is going to behave better in the property? Which resident is going to take care of the property better? But yet it circles back to that question on maintenance. We always like to talk about maintenance. But oftentimes maintenance is what separates your property from someone else. Everybody knows about our wonderful national companies that have large volumes of rentals. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. But every applicant who is looking for a new home knows who does what. So where do you fall on that list? When they look at your property, maybe you only have one. Maybe there is no conversation about it. The neighbors know. Who do you think the perspectives are going to maybe talk to? With social media, things like the neighborhood app, can they find the neighbors even if they don't go knock on the door? Absolutely. If they drive up to the property and boards are out of place, looks like it hasn't been pressure washed in 15 years, what kind of expectation is that going to give them on the property? Do you think that property is going to rent quickly? So, did you save any money by getting every little ounce of life out of every product in the home and making as few repairs as possible? I ask this question and put it out there as a thought to think about. It is not always about what maintenance I am required to maintain on a property, and it's not even about removing items that may be a nuisance. It's all about presentation. This is a property that a family or a person is going to live in for some period of time. They want to be able to enjoy their home, to come home, to feel comfortable. So I challenge you to look at your property, not so much as what am I required to do, but how can I make this stay as enjoyable as possible? And yes, I can keep things cost effective. But I want the property to remain attractive, because what comes from that? Residents stay for longer periods of time. Residents choose your property over the neighbors because it looks better. And they're going to stay as long as they can. Maybe they're looking to buy, maybe they're going to move. That's out of your control. But as long as they're in your property, let's help them to enjoy their stay so that we can have a wonderful relationship with a resident that takes care of your property. My name is Baron McWright. I look forward to talking to you soon.